Welcome to the podcast! Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the ASM Scholarships Podcast. This episode I'm lucky enough to be joined by our ASM Soccer Ambassador and Executive Director, Enoch. How are you doing, my friend?
Very good, good to be here.
It's good to have you back. You've been in Europe for a couple of weeks, right?
Yes, been in Greece, Italy, London as well as Cyprus for a wedding, but did a little bit of work out there. As long as you have good Wi-Fi, you can get some business done.
That's very true. I was just in South Africa and the Wi-Fi wasn't as good there, but it did work a bit. So we did get some good work done, which is
That's always good.
So look, you're in today, basically you just got back from your trip, and I said let's jump on a podcast and talk about soccer scholarships and playing professionally here in the US in the future, maybe after college, or even if kids are thinking about turning pro straight away. I mean, we can help them with that journey. But you've had a really amazing career. You played for Leeds United, Tranmere Rovers, Bristol City. I'm missing some other ones, I know.
Notts County and Luton Town as well. Can't miss them out in my first club, and obviously Nigeria national team as well.
Awesome. So you've literally played like for the best teams at the highest level, representing your country, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the best teams. That's what we like to say.
So that's awesome. And like, you know, the reason why I think we met at Soccer X, right?
Yes.
And I came to you talking about helping athletes get into the collegiate system, play soccer, and then from there trying to get into MLS, and we got on really well at that event. And it's been about a year now we've been working together.
Yeah, we'll almost come up to a year.
Yeah, and I know for me, like, what my goal with us, our partnership is really to build global soccer for scholarship, you know, pathways, and then seeing how we can help them progress to the pros. But let's start maybe a bit about your career, like how it was for you growing up, like the opportunities you had in front of you, and why did you get interested? Because you didn't come to college in America, did you?
No.
But it wasn't like something that was like widely available back then, right? It was like only kind of talked about a little bit.
Yes, I didn't know anything about it, and
Right.
I turned pro at 21, so I actually went to university in England.
Right.
But the teams, as well as I'm sure a lot of people do know, is you're not playing at any good standard of level football.
Yeah.
You're just basically against drunk kids
Yeah.
on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
So
in the UK university system.
in the UK
Yeah, 'cause
university.
you're the American one.
In the UK, definitely in the UK university system.
Yeah.
So as you know, if you're an academy in England
Yeah.
or in Europe in general, that's when you have your opportunities to play at a really high standard and play
Yeah.
and go on towards playing pro.
Yeah.
So I was never in that situation.
Yeah.
So at 18 years old, I was like kind of stuck because I wanted to be a professional soccer player, but I didn't have that pathway.
Right.
So I ended up going to university, and I was lucky enough to play against Luton Town in a game, and
Yeah.
then I was able to turn pro from that
Right.
situation. So what I got interested in is like looking at my situation at 18, not being at a professional club, not really playing at a semi-professional or high standard where I could get scouted by top coaches,
Yeah.
but also have something to fall back on. So this whole system in America is excellent in terms of you can come out here, you can get educated, but you can still pursue your dreams. Whereas at 18 years old, I didn't feel I had that pathway to pursue my dreams. So I think for kids coming up to 16, 17 years old, if you're still looking to pursue your dream and you're not a professional club, but you feel you have that talent and you do have a dream and you want to work hard towards it, America gives you an excellent opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And you live in Miami now, so you see the soccer scene here, you see your university level, MLS. How do you feel like it compares? Like, let's start at the university level. How do you feel that compares on maybe other spectrums globally, or maybe other university levels globally?
So in what I found being in America is like no stone is left unturned in terms of their facilities, in terms of what they give their athletes for sports. And I've played at professional level for 12 years in England, and I can say hand on heart that some facilities out here in American universities are better than professional clubs in England.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where you're coming into a very high standard of a program, and you're able to really use that standard to get you to that next level in your career.
Yeah. And like, okay, let's say now I'm a young kid listening to this, soccer player, maybe boy or girl. I'm 15, 16 years old, and I'm thinking about my future, right? Obviously, anyway, I mean, I was from England as well. We all dream about being professional soccer players. You actually did it. I got to 12 and realised I wasn't going to be good enough, so I played golf, right? But I know that nearly everyone imagines being a pro soccer player. It's like most people's dreams, right? If you're from Europe or maybe from the rest of the world. Americans maybe not so much right now, but like, what would your advice be to them? You know, because obviously pros probably what they're trying to accomplish first. But when's the point where you've got to be like, okay, the pro thing's not kind of working out, or maybe you think it's not going in the right direction, when I should be thinking about maybe playing US college instead? Like when do you think that should be?
Well, if you're at a pro club, obviously you're going to get feedback from the coaches.
Yes.
So you should kind of know if you're going to get a contract or not by the time you're 17 years old, like 16, 17. That's why we've done partnerships with the likes of Leeds United.
Right.
To say, okay, like they know that they're going to release some players, but we give them the opportunity to come out to the United States and go down this pathway. So at 16, 17, you should be able to know, and if you're not at a club at that age, then you should be knowing a little bit earlier that this could be an option for you. So you need to look at that as part of your process and part of your progress in what you're doing in terms of soccer.
Right. Because I know, like, we were in Leeds, what was that, about 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah.
We did the official partnership. That was an awesome event. It's a shame they lost.
Yeah, they did.
They shouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah, and then they didn't get promoted that year as well. So.
I know. Like they I don't know how they lost that game. They were like the better team all day, and then they just messed up, which made it a bit awkward in the box we were in.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
The owner was like just next to us.
Yeah, it was a little bit of sad faces around and a little bit pissed off. So,
because everyone was really happy when we got there. It was like, okay, but
and obviously they didn't get promoted that year.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do it this year.
Yeah.
But like I said, they're in the championship, so it's a huge club.
Right, and they're a better club in the championship.
One of the better clubs, one of the highest paying clubs. So to have that partnership with them is excellent for us, but also going the other way, they have like a sports college as well. Yeah. That people can access that kind of that pathway as well.
Right. So I mean, Leeds obviously more proactive than I'd say most clubs. Like they seem to let their players know you're going to get released, so they can start planning their pathways. And I think that's why they were keen to do this partnership. What if your club, like let's say you're in a youth academy, because if you're not in a youth academy, you really should be thinking about probably US college if you dream to be a pro, because at least the MLS will be a pathway. We can chat about that in a minute. Yeah. But if let's say you are in a youth academy, you're 16, and like, would you recommend maybe go asking your kind of manager like where you feel like you're at? Like, what would you recommend with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's best to know and have as much information as possible. So if you can go to your coaches and level with them and say, listen, where do I stand? Because I'm thinking about my future. And I think at 16 years old, at European clubs, a lot of kids just assume they're going to be a professional player. Yeah. So the best way to go about it is to actually look at and speak to the coaches and say, this is where I'm at, this is where I can improve, and this is the pathway that I need to take for myself.
Right. And let's say then you do look at the US options, because if you're playing youth academy, you're most likely going to end up a Division 1 soccer team out here. Very high chance you are on a full ride. Like probabilities are pretty good chances. If you're not in youth academy, then Division 1's probably not going to happen for you straight away, but at least maybe Division 2 NIA, and you could always transfer up as you progress in the States. But what is the opportunities for, I mean, why would an athlete, soccer player, come to the States, apart from maybe good weather versus England's rain and stuff, but why would they?
So in the US, in all of their sports, the university system's a pathway to go to the professional game. Yeah. So just like you may see in basketball and the NFL, they have the draft system. Yeah. So they have that draft system for soccer as well. And during that draft system, you get picked up and showcased in front of the top coaches in MLS clubs. Yeah. So you can come out of that with a professional contract. Right.
And you went to the soccer convention last year, or this year. I think this year's flown by. It feels like the year's really gone. Yeah, you went with Brendan and Joe. Yeah. And you actually saw like the convention. Like, what happens at these conventions? Because that is the draft essentially, right?
Yeah. So there's a convention for coaches. So you got coaches from all over the world. People involved in soccer all over the world comes to these conventions. Yeah. But what they also do, they have a press conference and they put on a whole big razzmatazz that probably the British are probably not used to so much.
Yeah, it's different now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little different. So the kids, when they finish their university, or some in their first or second year, they get drafted into the MLS. Yeah. They get drafted and they have them on in front of a press conference, doing an interview with the scarf of the university around their necks, and it's showcased, I believe, on TV and in the newspapers, and everyone knows about this player that's getting drafted to the MLS.
But like, so, I mean, I know obviously a bit about him. I'm trying to act like I have no idea, so help people listen to this maybe have no idea. Yeah. So I'm at this draft, right? Firstly, how do I get in the draft? Like, because there's not everybody makes the draft. So what have you got to do to get selected to get into this draft so you have the chance to turn pro?
So you need to be at one of the better universities in a D1 or D2,
Yeah.
but also there's a summer league that you should be playing in if you have ambitions to go pro.
Yeah.
So you should be playing in a USL League 2 development league in the summertime, where also MLS coaches are watching you, and also USL coaches as well are watching those players to pick up the best players in that university system to go into the MLS and the USL.
And then basically the draft organisers select the players with the best stats, best results.
So it'll be a combine first,
Yeah.
where they pick the best, I believe, 200 players.
Yeah.
And then they'll whittle it down to like 100 players, and generally like you get between 75 to above players getting picked by MLS clubs.
So you're basically guaranteed to get a deal at that point.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so that's really cool to have. But there's also maybe a chance you get picked up by an international club because there's so many coaches from overseas coming to this as well. So you maybe got other chances as well. Maybe you start, because I know there's a lot of players who started off in the US MLS as well. They go to college first, and they get drafted to MLS. And there's a few players. I remember at Leeds, you mentioned one was a Man City player, but then he's now playing for Leeds. So
Yes, so we have a great example of Jack Harrison, who's actually British.
Yeah.
I believe he came out to the United States when he was 15 years old. He went through the university system, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, at Wakefield.
Yeah.
He got drafted to play with New York City.
Yeah.
He played there for a season, got taken back to Man City, was on loan at Leeds United I believe he's on loan this year again from Manchester City.
Yeah.
So he's obviously a great example of a player who's gone through the system, gone through university, gone through the draft system, played well, got talent, and now he's back in England and playing at championship level.
Yeah. You know what's great about that? It's like if I was a youth academy player, right? I don't want to say a club name because I don't want to select any, but let's say I was playing for like a championship team or a Premier League youth academy, and I got maybe relegated out. They let me go, right? Released me. And I played university soccer and end up coming back and playing again. It's kind of like to those academy selectors, like, I made it back. You know what I mean? Because it is possible.
It definitely is possible, and I believe one of the biggest motivating factors in my life was to prove people wrong. I came from a place where I was never at an academy when I was younger. I came out playing like pub football on a Saturday in England to play in League One and then national team football within a year. So it's like I proved a lot of people wrong. So I think if you have that motivation as well to go out there, do well, work hard, and come back and have that dream, is still possible, because now there's a pathway for that.
Yeah, definitely. And so, one of the things we do at ASM Scholarships really well is we have access to all these soccer coaches, and obviously we build profiles, we then call the coaches, connect the athletes with the right universities. And I know one of the things that you're doing a lot with the agencies, helping build these pro pathways, right? So maybe if you didn't make that draft, but you still want a chance, what's your future look like if you didn't make the draft? Like, what could you do to help them still?
So if you didn't make the draft, then there's a lot of tryouts, there's a lot of showcases that you can be involved in against professional academies. And so we have the agency side of the business where we can help players come out into USL, come out to MLS teams, and get an opportunity for a tryout, come training for a week, just through our connections as well.
Yeah, and what are the chances of you making that though? Let's say you get into a tryout, because I know like Lloyd on the team here, he was the D2 player, and he just missed out on the draft. And I think he's going for Boca Raton. He's going for like a tryout with them on Thursday.
Yeah, with the MPSL team, yes.
He wants to do it for like a bit of fun on the side. But they're a smaller team, so it's not, it's more like a Sunday type of gig you'll do. Just so you can play some soccer. But then you told him it's like actually really intense level and you might not make it, right? Is that right?
It's a level where it's still intense, and it's actually good to actually play and see this level, because also it gives you that impetus to really push on in your career, and especially when you're 17, 18, 19 years old and you need to start playing against men that are doing this for their livelihoods or trying to do this for their livelihoods. So it's good for them to do that. But with Lloyd, I think he needs to keep fit. He wants to go to that tryout on Thursday.
I might just go to watch it and see how he does. Film it.
Hopefully he doesn't fall over his bases.
It'll be good to hear what happens with him. So, all right. So obviously, and I know one of the things we've been talking to Inter Milan recently about helping them do some youth academies out here, because a lot of these Premier League teams and Liga teams, and I can't think of the words right now, but they're all trying to come out here to the States, right, and develop develop their kind of their brand here, right? But yeah, they're all trying to come out here, right? And we did one with Alcacon.
Yes.
We've got now one coming with Inter probably for next year. So, you know, why do these clubs want to come to the US and make a footprint here?
So I believe, like, because the sport is growing so much in the US, I believe these clubs see the US as a huge pool of potential talent.
Yeah.
So they're coming out here, they're doing summer camps, they're doing whole week training sessions where they want to pick the best players that they do find in America and bring them back to their country. One is also very cost effective for them because they don't have to spend $30 million or pounds on the next best player.
Right.
And also it's like it's building their brand awareness in America because the sport is growing so much. Like we have David Beckham now.
Right, I was just about to mention
coming to Miami. So the sport is growing so big in America as a whole that they're seeing that there could be a lot of talent here.
It's definitely become a much bigger thing than it was when I first came to college. Like I came probably like 16 years ago, and it's like crazy now how it is here. So I think in another 15 years, it wouldn't surprise me if it becomes like at least a top 3 sport, because it's still kind of it's American football, basketball, baseball, but I feel like baseball's going to drop and soccer's going to replace that. I don't know, what do you think? I think that might happen.
Yeah, because I think the global aspect of soccer is attractive to American companies, American investors, American business people.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, the sport will grow, and then the grounding in terms of the game and in terms of the coaching and the standard is going to keep growing and growing.
A lot of good European players are coming here. Right, and that's the biggest thing I've noticed. More and more players are coming here playing. So it'd be interesting to see how it develops. But opportunity-wise, it's great for athletes. Like if you're a 16, 17-year-old and you're not getting those opportunities, because would you recommend? I always tell like my golf clients this, right, and even tennis players. Like, if a sponsor is going to give you a $250,000, $300,000 plus contract to turn pro at 16, 17, 18. Take it, like take it, go for it. You obviously you've got a massive sponsor giving you a massive opportunity. Yeah, you can always go back to uni. You know, US college won't happen for you because you turn pro, so you can't do it. But if you feel like you want to turn pro and that's for you, do that. And like, would you recommend the same for a soccer player if they're 18 and got a say a youth academy contract at Chelsea or Fulham or a big club to just run with that and see what happens, or would you say quit it and come to college?
No, I'll say the same thing. I'll say obviously if you've got a contract in front of you and they see your value and they see that you can potentially progress to one of their top players, so definitely take that contract. But in the sense where if you don't have that option,
which is a lot of people,
which is probably 99% of the kids out there, because the competition again for soccer is global. You're not just competing against other kids in your own academy, you're competing against kids in Africa, kids in South America, kids in other parts of Europe. So it's tough, and it's like you have to make sure that you're on the right pathway, and we're just offering that pathway for these kids to make sure that they have this pathway and they can still pursue their dream.
Yeah. So like, all right, so let's say now we've realised pro's not going to happen straight away. I'm going to come to US for play college soccer. We spoke about kind of the pathways around it, but what is it really like? Like, you know, you've seen some of the success stories now, players coming out here. You know, what would they expect on a day-to-day kind of atmosphere to happen in university? What would they be doing?
So you're looking at you're waking up early, you're going to training, you've got world-class facilities, they've got masseuses, they've got physiotherapists.
Masseuses.
Yes, they've got people.
You got like a pro team around you.
You got a pro team around you to make sure that you're on your peak level of fitness. Yeah. One thing you know about America and American sports in general is that fitness is a key aspect. Yeah. So before you even come out here, they need to be fit because they don't want to waste the first 6 months of their time at the university. So it's making sure they're fit, ready, prepared, and coming out here. And then it's like like I said, the facilities are world class. The coaching level, you're getting a lot of like really good coaches at university level now, and it's just for them to progress. And obviously they got to work on their academic side as well. They got to keep up their grades and do that side of things,
which
as
is
well.
great for the parent side of things.
Yes, exactly. Parents will always want that. But it's a great thing because like I said, I turned pro after graduating from university, and I have my business admin degree. And from that, I had that confidence just to like, okay, if being a professional soccer player didn't work out for me, I can go into a job environment and get a really good job just by having a degree. So that's the key aspect of this pathway, is that not everyone's going to make it, but you're going to have something that you will fall back on.
Yeah. Awesome. So man, I know for the athletes that I've seen that come through this and we've helped, it's a phenomenal experience for them. I don't hardly ever hear anyone saying they regret doing it. Only people that say they regret, they wish they did it. Do you have a bit of that maybe? Do you wish you maybe had the chance to look at it and come to a top D1 program?
100%. If I knew about this when I was 18, I would have taken it. Like 100%. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm in this position, working with ASM right now, because that's something that I would have taken from my life, because I didn't know how I was going to do it. I wanted to do it, but this is an excellent pathway. Yeah.
And we have a new platform coming out in a couple months, which is going to give everyone the opportunity to basically make a profile and connect with coaches and see what's possible for them. So
yeah, that's exciting, because it gives those people that may come from lower income backgrounds that the opportunity to still pursue a full ride scholarship as well.
And you're going to be basically taking that platform around the world, connecting with clubs, media teams, anything in soccer really that has a network to get it out there, which is pretty exciting stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So we're hoping to really help as many soccer players around the world as possible.
Yeah, awesome. So if you are a soccer player and you're listening to this, or you're a parent or someone who knows a soccer player, feel free to share this information. I've been working with Not for years. Honestly, one of the most genuine, awesome guys I know. It's great that we have him in the brand and what we're doing, and also his network is amazing. Every time I go somewhere, someone knows you, but most of all Leeds. That was the funnest experience. Wherever we went, it was you. It was Jermaine. We were like getting stopped every 30 yards for a photo, and I was like a professional cameraman that day. I just took photo after photo for you guys, so it was pretty fun. But Enoch's great. He's great with the team, and I know he's really keen to help soccer players like yourselves come out here, have this journey, and ideally we want as many MLS players as we can get. We want. I'd love for in like a year's time or 2 years time we have like 20 players in the MLS. Like, you know,
I think that's the main aim, especially me just coming out of the professional game, is really to help as many young athletes as possible fulfill their dream and potential. And we will push you in terms of all the aspects of the game of soccer to get to that level if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you just want to go to college, that's great. But if anyone has spoken to any of our team realizes like we're kind of big on pathway setting, right? We're not just like come to college and that's it. We're like, what do you want to do after college? Like, can we actually help you with that too? So that's really big for us. And look, any last words of wisdom? You've always got some wisdom in you, I know you do.
I'll just say, like, follow your dreams, work hard for it, because you have to sacrifice to fight for your dreams, and we will help you on that pathway to get there.
I like it, man. Hey, fist pump that. Boom, thanks for coming in. Oh, yeah, do that. I like that. All right, thanks, man. Thanks for coming in. Cheers.
Always.